Give each of you 45 seconds to respond. Councilman, we'll go with you first. The city has tried everything to get grocery stores and food deserts in southern Dallas. Incentives don't work. Nothing seems to be helping these communities get fresh food. Give us specifics of what new ideas you would try if elected.
Yes, there's right now a proposal for putting in a nonprofit grocery store in Oak Cliff. We need to help fund this nonprofit grocery store with some money that we set aside for a for-profit grocery store, and we couldn't find a for-profit grocery store to come in. We fund the nonprofit grocery store. Let's see how it succeed, and then try to get other nonprofit grocery stores to come in. Additionally, that's a longer-term solution. On day one, I'm ready to talk to DART and say, DART, you need to provide bus service from food deserts to grocery stores and back. Talking to people in the city of Dallas on the campaign trail, for example, like Miss Mary in Dolphin Heights, takes her 4 hours to get to the grocery store and the pharmacy and back home. We can change that by talking to DART, and that can be a short-term solution.
The councilman says one of his short-term solutions is getting DART to handle this. What do you think about that, Representative?
It's not a bad idea. I have a great relationship with DART. Again, this goes back to collaborative leadership. For 10 years in the legislature, I've been working with DART, not disparaging them, but working in a collaborative way to get them to improve. In my district in Far East Dallas, they had issues with some of the programs that were available to senior citizens in other parts of the city, but were not available to ours. I brought DART to the table, made them work with our senior citizens. Now our senior citizens are thrilled that DART is offering these services in our area. I think that working collaborative with people is the key, and I will work with DART on those issues. But back to the food desert question specifically, I grew up in one. I grew up in West Dallas. I understand how important this issue is. We ate at convenience stores and things that you probably shouldn't do if you're trying to raise healthy kids, and I think the nonprofit model, it could be one that actually works very well. City Square is proposing that very idea, and I've expressed publicly my support for the concept.
I told you guys it was going to go fast this first half hour here. Let's move to closing statements now. You both get 60 seconds to address voters directly in the camera. You're going to go first here, Representative Johnson. So the councilman gets the last word since you had the first question. So you get to go first. 60 seconds there to voters.
Well, I think there is a clear choice to be made in this election. These are the kind of elections I like because it should be very clear what you have to choose from. In this election, you have a council member who has been on the council for 8 years and had an opportunity to lower your taxes, and every chance he's had to do that, he's actually gone instead the opposite direction and raised them. He's had an opportunity to reform your ethics code, and instead they have not done that, and in fact, he's violated it several times. And you also have a candidate who is campaigning now on being a uniter and someone who can bring consensus, but has a reputation, as evidenced by the fact that his colleagues are supporting me in this race, of not actually being able to work very well with his colleagues. What we need is a mayor who's going to end the division at City Hall and actually bring results for you. I'm promising to you, if you will elect me mayor, if you will vote for me on June 8th, and we start voting next week, in fact, I will bring that council together and we will start working for you. We will work together to lower your taxes. I have a plan to do that. It's through our workforce development. I will help reform this ethics code so that we are no longer breaking it.
Representative, that is your time.
Thank you very much.
Councilman?
Thank you very much for joining us this evening. My name's Scott Griggs. I'm a lifelong Dallasite and I love this city. I live here with my wife, 3 children, and we have 1 dog, 3 cats, and 7 chickens. We have an absolutely great life. And I'm ready to serve as your mayor. And what is so important is I have the experience to begin working on day 1 for you. I've already amended the ethics code, and at my website, griggsfordallas.com, I have in place further amendments in place that will strengthen our ethics code. I'm ready on day 1 to take care of the transportation issues in the city of Dallas, from DART to taking on our streets. On day 1, I'm ready to take on public safety, which is such a priority for me. We need more police officers and firefighters in this city. On day 1, I'll continue working on the housing crisis to make sure that we have the 20,000 units of affordable housing that we need in the city of Dallas. I am a collaborative leader that brings things done. I'm also a very positive campaigner that does not like to disparage other people. That's my approach I'm going to bring to the horseshoe. A thick skin and a big heart to help everyone in the city of Dallas. Thank you.
All right, Councilman, that is your time. Exactly on time here, too. Remember, guys, this campaign started last year. 9 candidates in the race. We're down to the final 2 here as we go into the June 8th runoff. A reminder as well, early voting, as the representative said, begins next week rather. It's the 28th through the June 4th, and the runoff election, as we mentioned, is Saturday, June the 8th. We have more questions for the candidates tonight. Want to give you a chance to ask yours as well, so we're now going to move this discussion over to WFA's Facebook page for the next half hour. Tasha Chaparis and David Goins are both standing by and mining some questions from our Twitter and Facebook channels. We'll see you over there in just a moment. Good night. And now to continue the Dallas mayoral debate right here on Facebook Live. To all of you who are already watching our stream here on Facebook, thank you for sticking around.
And to those who are switching over from the broadcast, please ask your questions in the comments. We have David Goins and Tasha Chaparis here reading your questions. Now, David, you have our first question. What do the viewers want to know?
Yeah, Damon, Jason, a lot of good conversation during that 30-minute debate. One thing that's standing out is that kind of cost of living. The question we're getting is from Bree Jacks. She says, how can we ensure that people of color can become homeowners when their neighborhoods are being sold to builders for cheap? I'm talking about redline areas.
Redlining, that's a big topic that comes up a lot in community meetings. Councilman, you want to take this one first?
Yes. We definitely need to address the issue of redlining and opportunity in southern Dallas, and particularly inequity. We can do that by having an economic development policy that's going to make one of its primary goals, access to capital, needs to be so important. And then we, as we talked about before, take on the forces of gentrification, not allow developers to come into an area, rezone it, replat it, buy everyone out, and build in a much more expensive product. We need to use the tools available to us in the comprehensive housing policy that I helped draft, such as neighborhood empowerment zones, to help keep taxes down, and then help homeowners stay in their houses by providing various funds and loans for them to fix up their homes if they need to be.
Where does that money come from, though?
Right now we have a housing trust fund that has $7 million in it. We set it up by taking a little bit of money from successful TIFs, for example, in downtown and uptown, that have contributed so much to building market rate housing. We said we also need to create affordable housing. So we transferred the funds already to a housing trust fund that's ready to go. It's an innovative approach when you know where to find the money.
And Representative Bree's question is super important. There are a lot of people like her wondering how they can stay in their homes.
Right, or how they can get a home in the first place, or how they can acquire their first home. Home ownership is a very important part of creating a stable tax base, a stable city. You want to make sure that ratio of rental to owner occupied, it doesn't get too out of whack. So this is a very important issue for a lot of reasons, not just sort of a moral thing. It's a good thing for the city. But here's the key, in my opinion, and I think it ties in with everything else that we've been talking about. We need to make sure people have more income. The primary factor in whether or not you were able to acquire and obtain a home and stay in that home, and what frankly is the definition of affordable, is how much home you can afford. And so what we need to do is focus, in my opinion, on the workforce in Dallas.
Is that business investment, or is it the city raising its minimum wage? What is it?
Well, I think what it is making sure that the city takes the workforce development issue and owns it. The mayor of Dallas needs to have as a policy priority housed within his office or her office. In this case, I'm hoping it's going to be me.
It's going to be him, probably.
It's going to be me, hopefully. We're going to house that within the mayor's office and actually make it a city priority. We're going to work with DISD and the community college district to make sure that folks are making more money and that more housing stock that exists is more affordable, and also that people are able to obtain a home for the first time by qualifying through their income.
Councilman, is that possible?
It absolutely is, and we've already demonstrated some of it at the City of Dallas. When I became a council member, we had sanitation workers, temporary workers, love field employees making just over $7 per hour. Through a series of votes, built a coalition, raised wages to over $11 per hour. Now we need to get that up to $15 per hour. We need to continue to work with DISD so that we have universal all-day pre-K, help DISD with after-school programming using our rec centers and libraries, and summer program using our rec centers and libraries. Then work with Dallas County Community College District, DCCD, on their exciting new bond program to especially focus on tech jobs and computer programming and coding jobs. And doing that will help so much. And then in the comprehensive housing policy, we already put in place a soft second mortgage program to help people get their first home loan in neighborhoods in Southern Dallas. We need to activate that program.
Let's get another